Hi, I'm Stephanie Burt. Just like some who've come before me, I eat, I travel, I write, and I talk. Boy, do I talk. But I also listen too. And these are some of the stories I hear and experience around the Southern table. They are rooted in personal and cultural history, resonance with seasonality and the living environment, and a passion for high-level craft that in its pursuit offers the possibility of sustenance from one hand to another. Let's dig in. In South Carolina, beyond Beaufort, the road slides over the marsh and the tidal rivers to St. Helena. This island is one of the largest existing Gullah Geechee communities, and that distinct culture, which includes celebrating and maintaining African and indigenous roots and honoring the land, is still interwoven into the everyday life of St. Helena. And that's no matter the fact that you see modern fast food, regional grocery stores, or new faces who shop at them. On this island, where wide marsh views intermingle with sun-dappled two-lane roads cocooned with live oak trees above them, there's a thriving agricultural community. One such farm is Morning Glory Homestead, located on family land on a dirt road off of one of those two-lane roads. It's owned by Tony and Belinda Jones, and yes, there are geese and chickens that roam freely, so you'll hear them make a vocal appearance every so often here. You are on such a unique piece of land that really was the inspiration for taking your love of gardening to micro farm level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Tony, can you explain about the land that we're sitting on right now?
Well, the land that we're sitting on was purchased by my parents back in 1969 from my dad's paternal step-grand-aunt, Miss Julia Coaxum. The land was in her husband's family going back to 1868, where the patriarch of the family, a gentleman by the name of Pompey Coaxum, purchased this portion of land, which is 12.4 acres, along with for a total of 40 acres back in 1868.
Was it part of the heir's property or 40 acres and a mule?
This was not the 40 acres that the enslaved was supposed to get. This is what he bought and paid for money that he earned as a result of being, what was the term, property of war? Contraband of war, after this area was freed back in November of 1861.
Mm-hmm. And so you grew up on this island, right? Or just over a bridge, correct?
Right. I grew up about 20 miles from here in the area called Grace Hill, or actually Poppy Hill. Grew up over there, but we would make many trips over here.
Morning Glory is a unique farm. It really and truly began as a home for the Joneses and their 5 children, and then grew organically from there. Morning Glory Homestead, so it started as a home first, right?
Yes.
Right.
And then you started building out the vegetable garden, then you started making more, and then there...
Let me put it in context. We started growing vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
The animals someone brought in stealthily as a part of the children's curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I grew up with chickens and running around barefooted and stepping in chicken poo-poo.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to have anything to do with chickens. But she says, honey, it is for the children's curriculum. It's for their science project.
Correct.
Am I right?
That's
And
correct.
now, what is the total of animals on the farm? It depends, of course,
It depends,
in the season.
but we've gone from just having chickens to having ducks, turkeys, guineas, and geese in the fowl family.
Then you
Yes.
also have pigs,
We have pigs.
and you
And-
have the cutest little smokehouse that you built.
And we
Mhm.
have a rabbit too.
and
And
goats.
goats.
Wow. And so that is also something that you grow here, which is the educational arm of this place. This is not
an insular farm. You know, you've got campers sometimes here, you've got school children here. Can you talk a little bit about your work with homeschool and STEM, and then it's really branched out into cultural education as well?
Well, when we came here after Tony retired, we came with 5 children, and we were homeschooling at the time that we arrived here. And we decided to continue homeschooling. A part of what we wanted to teach the children was about gardening and trying to instill in them a sense of being sustainable, self-sustaining, at least to an extent that you could grow some of your own food. Introduce them to that on a larger level here, because we would have small garden plots at different duty stations. But when we came here, we were able to expand on that, and we joined 4-H. Tony and I became 4-H volunteers, went through the training, and we included 4-H projects in our curriculum for homeschool.
As Tony and Belinda's children grew up, the couple continued to farm and over the course of years began to diversify in very interesting ways. This is the truth of many family farms. It's rarely one monocrop planted in rows to the horizon, but a family of crops that work together seasonally along with livestock. Then there's the fact that close to 85% of American family farms rely on other livelihoods to support them. At Morning Glory, that support comes in a variety of ways, from military service retirement and campers who they invite to stay on their land, to the varied offerings they provide for sale through their shop website, ranging from pre-ordered turkeys for Thanksgiving to eggs or homemade bread. Another feature of the farm is a humble raised bed near the planting tables. It's actually a demo garden for homeschool curriculum, which means that each semester, homeschool students visit this land as well to learn.
So we have a semester-long courses that feature one particular subject or a person, and we teach unit studies. So it's going to be a variety of subject matter related to that topic. And the first one was about Dr. George Washington Carver. So that little plot became known as the Carver Garden. And so we have students plant in it every year. So it's a joy to be able to do that, to not just stop after our own children are long gone and past that program, graduated out of 4-H and have moved on and are adulting in their own, communities. And these families are coming and volunteering sometimes, or if they're in the homeschool class, they get a chance to participate with us in different on-the-farm activities.
All of these different arms of creativity, from campsites to livestock to welcoming school children, come back to the idea of ingenuity, of seeing from a central place. And that place is always the farm as a living, breathing life force in and of itself. Upon request from campers for more information about the Gullah Geechee culture, Tony and Belinda began Gullah Campfire Supper with Stories and Songs, something they now habitually offer as an add-on for campers and other guests. So not only is the farm feeding family and others, but it's also feeding education, from science and history for children to cultural enrichment for visitors.
This kind of grew like a Morning Glory vine. You're responding to people. It is that feeling of organic. You are learning regenerative practices, and as you learn those, you're implementing them. If they're great experiments, right? Then you're teaching others about that.
Exactly.
So I would say it's more of like a mycelium or a web, right? Of this kind of bigger network system that seems to just branch out from camping to the students to that kind of stuff. You had a big, long career. You lived all over the world with the military. Is this what you saw retirement like?
Me, no. I thought that after retirement and getting a job, which I had a early retirement with the state after 20 years with the military, and coming back here, I really don't see it so much as work, but as relaxation, because I can get up and do whatever I want to do when I want to do it and how I want to do it. And if I don't want to do it, then I don't do it. And then we get a chance to, unlike a lot of other farms who may have to do things to bring in funds, if we bring it in, that's fine. But we're more on teaching folks on the how, and such is the case. Right now, Belinda's got a trial that she's doing with okra. We've got sugarcane that's growing out in the field. We've got benet or sesame seed that's growing. We've got not only Clemson spineless okra, but Chef B.J. Dennis brought over to us some plant settings of the Senegalese okra. So we've got that, as well as some old-time sweet potato slips he brought over. So we have an eclectic variety of stuff growing out in the field.
Citizen scientists.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I think that is, I enjoy that too. I'm always like testing things. I have a pineapple now that is growing from the crown.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
pretty proud of. So I'm always just like testing and
All
seeing.
you need now is a goose.
Probably not going to happen. I'm a little wary, I think is the term. But I'm an adult woman. I'm fine. I've got a chair. I can stand on it. They have wings though, so don't point that out. It is a teaching place. It's become a hub. And that just came out of a natural love of education from both of you, correct?
True.
Yeah, and it's funny, Belinda, chuckles very often at me too. She majored. When we were in college, we were in the same department. I was political science and public administration, and she was political science and history. And she later on got her master's in professional history. After we moved and after the kids have gone, it's the first time that she's actually got a chance to work in that history discipline, and she does a real good job.
I think it's just extended from the homeschool experience. And I did have a lot of good mentoring from my parents, who are both educators, and often offered advice. Tony's parents were both teachers at one time as well.
I mean, you really have made this that could be just seen as a suburban kind of just backyard, property. You've made it into really a microcosm of all the ways that you can grow food.
Right.
And so I wonder, what is making you hungry? What are you interested in doing next? I mean, you got some experiments running over there. Are you going to start pressing cane now?
That's not in the future, because we would have to grow more cane than we have over there. But it's just an idea of letting city folks or any folks.
Why are you pointing at me?
Yeah, I just this happened to be sprayed in my hands. Just see how sugarcane looks growing, and then to have folks come out here under these majestic live oak trees. I mean, the ambiance, the whole scenery.
Well, it's more that it's you can feel the breathing life of this place, right? There is a spiritualness to this, and the more you lay down that energy and the good vibes, and bring people here, I think it does improve it.
Yeah. Well, going back to Dr. Carver, Dr. Carver said that there's something about spending time in nature. And he said it's like God is broadcasting over his station, and you get a chance to tune in and enjoy creation and see how marvelous it is. And that is something that we have the opportunity to do. It is a wonderful opportunity to be outdoors and appreciate what has been created, to see other people enjoy it, as we may be identifying different types of trees on the property and the shapes of the leaves and what the bark looks like, and we try to make sure that we extend and expand our own knowledge.
As you can hear, both Tony and Belinda are very involved in the community of St. Helena. And this is a very unique sea island, especially if you've visited places such as Fripp Island or Hilton Head. Here, a Cultural Protection Overlay, CPO, has been in place since the 1990s. It prohibits golf courses, gated communities, and resorts on St. Helena in major part because of its significance as the epicenter of the Gullah Geechee culture and people. Despite the long-standing protections of the CPO, a developer has tried since 2022 to circumvent these community-based rules and build a luxury gated golf resort on the 502-acre Pine Island property.
And when you speak of traditions, and the one key word that comes up to me is value. Value is what Pompey Coaxum felt, I believe, back in 1868 when he purchased the 40 acres. Value is, even now, when you roll it to 2025, the big fight that we have with Pine Island and why it's so important not to let folks come in and destroy what has been gained over 200 years at the value that our ancestors fought there and bled and gave their sweat and tears to purchase this property, to have this sacred place, to have it all taken care of by folks who have a greed of money to have a place for a golf course. So I mean, when you think of what folks went through in order that we could have what we have today, to see it all gone in a matter of one flash, that's something to stand up and fight for. We're not fighting against, things that would be productive for the kids, but we're fighting for things that once they're gone, you can't get them back again.
Can't get that back, right?
You can't get that oak tree back.
Morning Glory Homestead is only a few minutes by road from the proposed development, or even a shorter distance as the crow flies across a couple of creeks. Tony and Belinda are part of the chorus of St. Helena community voices who have raised rejections against this development for years. Multiple motions by advocacy and environmental groups have also been filed, seeking to intervene and uphold the Beaufort County Planning Commission's denials based on the CPO. On September 22nd, just a couple of weeks ago, the Beaufort County Council voted to reject the new development agreement and any changes to the CPO. However, that's not the end, as there is still a lawsuit underway from the developer challenging the county's earlier denial of this project.
This land nourishes the culture.
Mm-hmm.
You nourish it. It nourishes you, and you use it to teach and educate and nourish others, right? And that has a finite date.
Yes.
If it turns to a recreational place that is private.
Right.
When you've chosen to make your place more public.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Private and exclusive.
Yeah. So what is one aspect, quickly, we're going to rapid fire through these next two. I know Belinda with her master's. I get it. I know why she's locked in here. But, what is one aspect of your personality that meshes like a puzzle piece with the work that you do here?
Being a staunch fighter, fighting for what I believe, that if it's not fought for, it'll be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting for things that will be a legacy for my kids and my grandkids. Fighting for things that, that if people aren't aware of them, they would just go to pass. And that's a part of me, and that's a part of what we're doing here, even with the Gullah Campfire Suppers, is educating folks who are coming here on what the past, why is this little piece of dirt in Beaufort County so important? Well, it's so important because folks were freed here before everyone else, was freed during the Civil War. Folks who didn't think it robbery to not only after doing their task for their master, but coming back and growing things that's going to provide stability and survivability for their family by raising the corn and stuff for their kids, going out fishing in the creeks and so forth. So that meshes with me. And then my master's was in public administration, but it dealt with counseling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did for years, was counseling. And this, I still see it as a form of counseling, helping people to see things that they wouldn't ordinarily see.
I love that. Belinda, quick fire. What's keeping you up at night besides the sounds of all these animals sometimes until they go to sleep?
A lot of times it's research for the next project. It's looking for our own family genealogy, because it was just recently that I came across paper documents, well, not paperwork, but the files that were originally paperwork that showed that Pompey Coaxum served in the United States Colored Troops, and also he was being included in a job after serving in the military, the Freedmen's Bureau. I think even his wife was involved with. Her name was on a list. Her name was Tina, Tinnah, Coaxum. And so just being able to research those things and make sure that the narrative that we're sharing is based on factual information. So reading articles, reading books, visiting the Library of Congress online and other resources helps us to make sure that our story is correct.
Well, I always ask this question at the end of every Southern Fork episode, and it is a question that I reserve just for Southern Fork guests, and it is the magic picnic basket question. So with this magic picnic basket, I can time travel. I can go back and conscript anybody to make anything, just one more bite of something you wish you could taste. I can source for you, and I can cook a little bit, but I haven't tried that bread, so don't ask me to make that. You'll have to make that if you want it. But I'd love for you two to put a couple things in those that basket together, since you are co-leading this homestead. What can I put in that basket for you?
Well, I would put in some fried chicken wings. I really love I love fried chicken. Both my maternal and paternal grandmothers were cooks, and they had excellent fried chicken. And I have to agree with my dad that he loved the chicken wing. He said it's the sweetest piece of part of the chicken. And I really enjoy eating a good fried chicken wing. So I would love to have in my basket some fried chicken wings, if you don't mind.
What about geese? Do geese make good fried chicken?
We haven't tried it yet, but we have
stick around Christmas.
There's a possibility that
I'm looking at one that would probably be on the roasting
he's
thing.
coming after me. What about for you, Tony? What can you add beyond fried chicken wings?
I would add a dish that my maternal grandaunt used to make. And occasionally we do it here. It's called daha. Daha is a little whatever was in the refrigerator. And she made a soup out of it. And that, spinning it even with what we're doing here is giving folks a taste of a little bit of what we grew up with.
Like a sampling.
We do a little daha here. That would be ideal. And I would like me some nice, good, fresh whiting. Fried.
Oh, fried whiting. That's an amazing thing to eat fresh, isn't it?
Yes.
It is.
My gosh.
Or for me, growing up in the freshwater area of the state, some fried catfish would be amazing.
Yeah. Cornmeal crust, right?
Yes.
Gotta have that cornmeal crust.
And some hush puppies on the side.
Oh, man.
Or shut up dogs.
Yeah, my cousin called them shut up dogs.
Shut up dog.
And that's the show for today. This podcast is produced in-house by the Southern Fork, and the theme music is the song Memphis Bound from Songs for Rosetta by Jimbo Mathis and his Knockdown Society, released in 1997 and including violin on this track from Andrew Bird. Mathis, who generously allowed me to use this music here, has been my lifetime musical Pied Piper, and Bird, one of my creative catalysts, so I'm grateful to share their sound with you through this show. If you like what you've heard today, please send it to somebody you'd like to sit across the table from. And please support all the creators featured here. Until next time.